Today is August 4th, 2014. This is the last one for the current stretch that I'm posting immediately and urgently for right as of now without taking a break to get some fresh air as much as we can for Lyndall and me. I'm needing to show this because one of the setups they seem to be trying to do is to make it look like I might, they seem to have been, for years actually, been trying to either set me up to look like I'm somehow mentally, I'm not in proper condition, like odd. They literally have swapped out people at straightforward business transactions, stores, even the bank, etc., just so they could try to get some pretend, witness, member of their network in place to say that somehow my behavior was odd or suspicious or something like that when it was not. For example, paying with traveler's checks for a mattress. I said to the manager, they either accept the traveler's checks or they don't. They don't need to take my American Express, mind you. And I have nothing against American Express. In fact, they've been very professional and helpful toward me. And I'm very grateful to people there. Let me say that. They either take the traveler's checks or they don't as a form of payment for the mattress. So if they take them, they don't need to write a customer up as odd in their computer system for paying with traveler's checks or suspicious for paying with traveler's checks. That is an outrage. So these are the types of things that have gone on over the years. That's from 2007 when things were flared up then. First half of 2007 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And suddenly, the lady I was working with that seemed to be a normal lady, and probably was, because they suddenly relocated her to a different store location and put this man in place. This young, eager beaver, probably just joined the military recently or something, and was following orders to write me up as odd for whatever payment form I used or what have you. So this is not acceptable, to say the least, and now they've ramped things up to the point that it's become immediately life-threatening. Not in the way they would like to portray, but immediately life-threatening, because they are making it immediately life-threatening by trying to force me to have to only get medical care from one of theirs people here in Alabama. That I rightly refuse to do, but I am willing to take care of what needs to be taken care of properly once I'm able to safely relocate to the East Coast. Right now, there is no formal activity to prevent me from leaving, but there is all sorts of in-practice activity to prevent me from leaving, even this room. So, those following along, especially in the most recent week, will be able to see that, and certainly without strict escort, except last night, it was proven in the 11 o'clock hour, just before midnight, if anybody needs to check surveillance as far as the traffic lights, the McDonald's surveillance, and if there's surveillance at the Waffle House, yes, there was surveillance at the Waffle House. I remember seeing the signs and some evidences to that, video surveillance as well. In the 11 o'clock hour, I was there. A light blue car, standard size to big size, but not an SUV or a minivan, just a car, was there. One of my favorite waitresses, her name starts with an A, she was there. She did not participate in the nonsense against me, and she seemed quite unhappy to see that it was going on, for the record, so I'm grateful to her as well. And I'm not trying to put her name in there or anything, just that's a reference if somebody needs to check. I'm in Gunnersville, Alabama, USA. The nearest major city is Huntsville, Alabama. They manipulated again with regard to certain financial things I'm trying to work out. One of the most immediate issues is my monthly check is missing, and it should have been put in for the 1st of the month. and they've played all sorts of games with that. And one of them most recently is they seem to be ramping up to try to say that there's some string attached or something that I haven't fulfilled or something, which is not the case. And so that would be something called fraudulent conversion. And so I've been informed that I need to, by someone on the inside trying to help me, that I need to post something that shows that that is not a check that has any kind of stipulation like what they're suddenly sitting there plotting to try to make it out to be. I worked very hard and very long for anything and everything that I have and that is coming in and beyond that, and I've had all sorts of racketeering that I've been subjected to take all of my assets financially, etc., away, etc. And even I suspect, in fact I know about at least some interference with things that have been willed to me, for example by my grandmother, even right down to the slush machine, because I always loved the slush, and she used to run a variety store among other things, and it's a $6,000, what I was told, valued at $6,000 machine, to make the slush. I don't know what it's called in the States. That's what they call it in Canada, like an icy. But I don't, it's not limited to a particular brand. And she left me one of those professional machines, and this network has prevented me from even being able to get possession of that machine. That's how horrible it is. So it makes me wonder, what else needs to be checked that they've prevented me from getting. And I know they committed real estate racketeering against me, and that was in federal court. And then one of the, quote, doctors in this network, all the way to Canada, tried to write something about how I imagine some non-existent real estate case. Well, the last I checked, there was evidence of the case in PACER documentation. And thankfully others were also posting redundant, well, what I thought at first were redundant, but maybe will become necessary, backups of files. The lawyer on the case was Nelson G. Alston. He's based in Colorado, in or about Aurora, in the state of Colorado. And he's quite nervous right now, so obviously these people have interfered with him to some extent. But he's never done anything, to my knowledge, that's actually, bad against me or anything like that. And he's done quite a lot to help me historically. And he paid a price for it, I know. He's at least paid a price for it, because he was written up as having filed, committed some Rule 11. He was slapped with some Rule 11 sanction illegitimately by the magistrate. That's for something like filing a frivolous and malicious lawsuit against the real estate racketeers. So it certainly was not frivolous, it certainly was not malicious. And, so the actual judge above the magistrate was not that trying to do things like that, and he might have even been more willing to actually hear the case or so. But all of a sudden he developed some, quote, aggressive brain tumor and died. That's public information. It's written on the Wikipedia page presently for him. That was Judge Philip Figa, F-I-G-A. It was a federal action in the U.S. District Court of Colorado. I left Colorado December 2006. Oh, and I need to show, where this came in from. If I were able to properly work, I would go to my video editor, access that laptop that has that program, and edit out the last few digits on this number, as I've done every day prior to today. But I am not every day able prior to today, which essentially covers every day prior to day's post prior to today's post and present. But right now, I'm hardly even being allowed to breathe, since I'm having to immediately finish this and get Lyndall and I as fresh air as we can, despite the campaigns right outside that also are harmful to our hearing and etc., to drive us back into the house, to force us to have to keep breathing in what they're circulating in here, when synchronistically or coincidentally or whatever the right word is, doctors L and M are not here. So there have been other maneuverings like that too, that other related files indicate, both audio and visual, audio only and video format as well, including an audio file called health effects via ventilation. And I've received a message. I clicked the wrong button. Let me just see if I see my cursor quotes mysteriously stopped working. Let me see what happens if I click on menu and click OK, cancel. So I'm having to find other ways to navigate. Okay, let me hit end and verify date and time. Okay, there we go. It's now August 4th, 2014, 7:34 p.m.